a lot of people are not transparent in their storytelling of the founders. And a lot of founders, for whatever reason, are ashamed for telling their story. To have a button down plan put together, and I had created something decades ago with my frustration of these big plans of going to market, raising capital, because people would come in and extort folks for a couple $100,000 just to build a plan, not even to build out the digital assets. So we were like, well, that's crazy. It's not required. So most founders don't know how to tell their story, especially if you're in the tech space. They just don't know how to do it. And even in the other markets, we just found medical, real estate, doesn't matter. They just don't know how to tell their story. And one thing I want to tell you is, how you said you have to put your glasses on to see. A lot of people are not transparent in their storytelling of the founders. And a lot of founders, for whatever reason, are ashamed for telling their story, which is what I wrote this book for. It's called The Street Guide to Digital Business Influence. It's called First. And what I talk about in there is I'm like, every one of us are unique. We're all different. And people invest in people, and they need to trust the people that are part of that organization. But in order to do so, they need to know they're genuine, authentic, and they need to know their story. They need to connect to that story. So, some people connect because they went to the same universities, they played the same sports, they have the same hobbies. Maybe they drink the same color wine, whatever it is out there. People connect at different points, with different people. And so, as I meet people and as you meet people, what I always say is, look at the human side of the person that you're meeting, that you're going to ask for capital, and see if there's any commonalities, things that are common. Now, what's important too is when you're doing think about the simplicity of when you look at the bios of the founders and you look at the website and you look at the social media profiles, the LinkedIn profiles, and they might be on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. It needs to be consistent. One of the biggest trust breakers are when people read the deck or they read the website with the bio, and it's written in this voice that is completely different than when I Google your name on the internet and I find a whole different story about you. And they're like, why did they leave this out? They create doubt in people, right? So now there's this whole gap in the trust building process for when I'm going to ask someone for capital. And they're just like, oh, now all of a sudden their guard's up, and it just makes it a whole lot harder. So tell an authentic story of yourself. Make sure your bio is concise and to the point and has key elements of success, your background, and what's important for people to know about you that you're asking to invest. And then make sure it's consistent all over the internet. I write about the good, the bad, and the ugly in my book. I tell my whole story in here about the good times and the bad times. I just don't gloss over with everything that's been great, but I've been through all kinds of situations, and I tell people about it and I'm authentic about it. And then people go, wow, me too. I feel that, I get that. And now they trust you and they want to do, and then they're hungry to do business with you. Even if they can't write you a check, they find someone to write you a check. It's the most unbelievable process. I almost can't even, describe it.